The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Henry David Thoreau. Have you ever wondered why so many boys and men today seem uncertain of who they are, where they belong, or what their purpose is? Why depression, loneliness, and quiet despair seem to echo in their lives more than ever before? Thoreau's words, written in the 19th century, feel hauntingly true in our modern world. But the deeper question is, why has this sense of disconnection become so widespread, and how can men rise again? Backhand index pointing right before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Psyche Glimpse so you never miss explorations of psychology, philosophy, and the human condition. The silent struggle of modern men. In today's world, boys and men face a silent crisis. On the surface, society appears to offer more freedom, more opportunities, and more equality than ever before. Yet, beneath the progress, many men feel directionless. Rates of depression, substance abuse, and suicide among men have risen dramatically. Young men, in particular, often report feeling lost, disconnected from purpose, disconnected from community, and even disconnected from themselves. This crisis is rarely spoken about openly. Unlike physical battles of the past, the struggle today is internal, a battle against apathy, confusion, and alienation. Men are told to be strong, while at the same time being stripped of the very anchors, family, work, tradition, that once gave them strength. Shifting roles and the collapse of old identities. For centuries, men's roles were clear. A man was defined by his ability to provide, to protect, to build. These roles were rooted in survival and tradition. But in a world of rapid change, where automation reshapes work, where gender roles blur, and where traditional markers of success are questioned, many men feel unanchored. Psychologists note that identity is crucial to mental health. Without a clear sense of who they are, men drift into confusion. The old scripts no longer apply, but new scripts have not yet been fully written. This creates what Carl Jung called a liminal state, a threshold where the old has collapsed but the new has not yet emerged. The weight of unspoken expectations. Even as traditional roles dissolve, society still imposes unspoken expectations on men. They are told to succeed but not to boast, to be sensitive but not weak, to be ambitious but not domineering. This double bind leaves men trapped in a maze of contradictions. Many retreat inward, unsure of how to express themselves. The result is what psychologists call role strain, the stress that arises when conflicting expectations pull someone in opposite directions. For boys growing into men, this often leads to paralysis. They stop striving because no matter what they do, it feels wrong. The loss of brotherhood and community. In the past, men found strength in brotherhood. From guilds to armies, from hunting parties to friendships forged in labor, men had spaces where they bonded, shared burdens, and learned from one another. Today, many of those communal spaces have vanished. Social media creates connections that are shallow, not deep. Friendships fade as work and isolation take over. The absence of true brotherhood leaves many men without guidance or belonging. Without mentors, without tribes, without deep bonds, the struggles men face become heavier. The irony is that in a hyper-connected world, many men are lonelier than ever. The psychological toll of disconnection. Disconnection isn't just a social issue, it's deeply psychological. Human beings are wired for belonging, and when that belonging is missing, the effects ripple through every part of life. For men, the absence of genuine connection often manifests as restlessness, irritability, or withdrawal. It's no coincidence that psychologists now speak of a loneliness epidemic. This disconnection chips away at self-worth. A man may have a good job, financial stability, even a family, but still feel empty inside. Why? Because without authentic connection, without a sense of being truly seen, success feels hollow. Why many men quietly give up. One of the most troubling patterns today is that many men simply disengage. They don't always shout their struggles. They quietly fade into passivity. They withdraw into video games, endless scrolling, or substances, not because they don't care, but because they've lost hope that caring will change anything. Philosopher Albert Camus once said that the greatest philosophical question is whether life is worth living. For too many men, the unspoken answer has become no. This is not weakness, it's despair, and despair thrives when meaning is lost. Without direction, men surrender to the weight of hopelessness, and society often doesn't even notice until it's too late. How society misunderstands male struggles. Here lies the tragedy. Men's struggles are often misinterpreted. When men grow quiet, society labels them lazy, unmotivated, or emotionally unavailable. But beneath that silence lies pain. Men are often conditioned not to express vulnerability, so their distress rarely appears as tears. It appears as withdrawal, anger, or indifference. Psychologists call this masked depression. Unlike stereotypical sadness, it hides behind behaviors that look like apathy or aggression. Society mistakes this mask for disinterest when in truth, it's a defense against shame. Without a deeper understanding of these patterns, society ends up shaming the very men who most need compassion. Philosophy and psychology on the way forward. History and psychology both remind us that meaning is the antidote to despair. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how." For men today, rediscovering purpose is not about reclaiming outdated roles. It's about forging a new vision of manhood that balances strength with vulnerability, independence with connection. Philosophy teaches resilience. Stoicism shows men how to endure hardship without being broken by it. Existentialism reminds them that meaning is not given but created. Psychology shows practical tools, therapy, connection, self-reflection, that help men rebuild inner stability. The way forward isn't found in rejecting society, but in reshaping how men see themselves within it. Turning despair into strength. Despair, though heavy, can be transformed into fuel. Many of history's greatest men were not spared suffering. Nietzsche battled illness and isolation. Dostoevsky endured prison and near execution, and countless others carried private burdens. Yet they transformed despair into vision. For modern men, the turning point often comes when they realize despair is not the end, but the beginning of a new path. The collapse of old certainties clears space for new meaning. To rise again, a man must reinterpret his despair, not as failure but as the raw material of growth. It's through suffering that character is forged, through darkness that light is most deeply valued. Rediscovering purpose through challenge. Purpose is not found in comfort. It is revealed through challenge. Modern society often shields men from true tests, but without tests, growth stagnates. Throughout history, initiation rituals, trials, and responsibilities gave men a sense of identity and belonging. Today, those rites of passage are missing. Many men drift because they've never been asked to prove themselves in meaningful ways. Yet challenge still exists if one seeks it. It may come through physical training, intellectual pursuit, creative endeavor, or service to others. Purpose grows when a man takes responsibility for something larger than himself. Struggle, then, is not the enemy, it is the forge. The role of mentors and brotherhood. No man rises entirely alone. Across cultures, men were once guided by elders and supported by brotherhoods. Today, many men navigate life without those pillars. This absence leaves them vulnerable to confusion and self-doubt. But when men find mentors, whether through books, communities, or personal relationships, they discover maps through life's complexity. Brotherhood, too, provides strength. It's not about competition but about accountability and encouragement. Psychologists emphasize that healthy male bonds reduce loneliness and provide resilience against despair. To rise again, men must seek out those who challenge and support them in equal measure. Balancing intellect, emotion, and authenticity. True strength comes from balance. Many men have been told to prize intellect and suppress emotion. Others, reacting to this, fall into emotional chaos without grounding. But real resilience requires both, the sharpness of intellect and the depth of emotion, woven together with authenticity. Philosophy shows that intellect without heart becomes arrogance, while emotion without clarity becomes confusion. To be whole, a man must allow both reason and feeling to inform his choices. Authenticity emerges when the mind and the heart align. A man who knows how to think, how to feel, and how to live truthfully becomes unshakable. Living authentically in a changing world. The modern world is shifting faster than ever before. Technology, social expectations, and cultural roles change almost overnight. For many men, this creates confusion. What does it mean to live with purpose when the rules keep changing? The answer lies not in chasing trends but in anchoring to authenticity. A man who knows his values can walk through chaos without losing himself. Authenticity is the compass that allows him to adapt while remaining rooted. Living authentically does not mean rejecting society, it means engaging with it honestly. It's the courage to say what you mean, to act in alignment with your principles, and to pursue a path that feels true, even if it's not popular. This is how a man rises, not by fitting into the mold society gives him, but by shaping his own. Rising through responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden, it is liberation. Modern men often avoid responsibility, fearing it will trap them. Yet paradoxically, it is through responsibility that freedom is found. When a man commits himself to something meaningful, whether protecting his family, pursuing his craft, or serving his community, his life gains structure and direction. Psychology shows that responsibility increases resilience and reduces despair, because it anchors the self to a larger purpose. Viktor Frankl, the great psychiatrist and survivor of the concentration camps, wrote that those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. Rising again means finding that why through responsibility and letting it shape daily choices. How men can rise again. To rise again is not to return to old stereotypes of masculinity. It is not about domination, stoicism without feeling, or endless striving for power. Rising again means becoming whole. It means reclaiming depth, purpose, and authenticity in a world that often asks men to be shallow. Men rise when they embrace despair as transformation, challenge as fuel, brotherhood as strength, balance as wisdom, and authenticity as their compass. They rise when they take responsibility for more than themselves, becoming leaders not through force but through example. This is the path forward. Not a return to the past but a reimagining of what it means to live fully as a man today. To rise again is to bring clarity, strength, and compassion into a world that needs them more than ever.